While we were out skating yesterday, a friend of mine broke a couple of bones in his foot riding his bike, and it made me kind of think about the fact that a lot of people don't safety check their boards, and it's not something that you have to go out of your way to do. Just kind of be aware of what's going on with your board. I think his injury was probably preventable. He was jumping down. I guess it was just a basic bunny hop. I don't think he was even trying to 180 it, but it was a gap that I think I've seen him 360 down it before. But anyways, he lands, and basically his crank arm just snapped. And you know how one pedal's supposed to be up and the other one's down. They were both down. Apparently, it snapped. His foot slipped off the pedal, and he just stomped the ground and broke a couple bones in his foot. Uh, Screwed up all kinds of other stuff as a result of that. But that's not really the important part. My thinking is that it probably could have been avoided if he had done some basic safety checks, and there are similar safety checks that you need to do with your skateboard. You know, if you hear the bearings hiss, there's probably no lubrication in there, and there's a good chance that the bearing is going to break. And when it breaks, sometimes the wheel comes off. Like if you break an outside bearing, the wheel will pull out towards the outside of the board, and then sometimes it'll pop off the inside bearing, and then all of a sudden you're riding down a hill with three wheels. And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but if you're riding down a hill with three wheels, chances are you're not under control. Your axle's going to touch the ground, and it's going to just destroy it. It's going to ruin all the threads, and you're going to have to get new trucks on top of the new bearings that you've got to get. So that's something that you should keep an eye out for. Keep your bearings lubricated. And while it's not a huge issue unless your wheels are oblong or deformed in some way, it's still something that it doesn't hurt to keep an eye on. It doesn't take long to take your bearings apart, pop the caps off, put some lubrication in there, clean them up, put the caps back on, good to go. You can blow bushings. I've never seen anybody like completely blow out a bushing because usually it's pretty obvious that you're starting to blow out a bushing. They just start to kind of peel. But you can blow them, and when you do, you get all kinds of wobble, snap a kingpin, then all of a sudden, again, you're missing a whole truck in that case, and just kind of riding around. Not good times. You can break a base plate, so keep a lookout for any stress cracks in the base plate of your trucks. Not very common. I've only seen a couple of them break, and they were on really, really cheap trucks. But I suppose it could happen with some of your higher quality trucks. Let's see, gouged or flat spotted wheels can cause some problems. Nothing too major. Mostly it's when you start getting your wheels are too small and you hit those little tiny pebbles or a crack or something like that, you know. It starts to get a little sketchy. You gotta keep that in mind. Razor tail can literally get so bad that it'll cut you, or you kick out your board and it spins around and hits somebody in the shin, cuts them all up. Again, not a huge deal, but you know, it sucks to have scabs all over your shins because your friends can't take care of their boards. With razor tail comes chips. Chips, you can get splinters in your fingers and you cry like a little baby because your mom's going to get out tweezers and pull out the splinters. Basically, they're all just really simple things that you can just kind of keep an eye on. Another one that used to actually happen to me a lot was losing hardware. You're bombing a hill or something and just a hardware will rattle loose. It stopped happening when I stopped riding riser pads, actually, because you know you can get that nut on there tight enough that the Loctite keeps it in place pretty well. But I was using short hardware and pretty thick risers, so the nut wasn't tightening up enough that the Loctite was catching it. So I'd lose hardware all the time, and I couldn't figure out why because I was an idiot. So you're bombing a hill or something like that, and you already lost two hardware earlier in the day. You lose one more, and now you got a truck spinning on the front of your board or on the back of your board. It's even worse on the back of your board because then the whole back end of your board just suddenly swooshes around, and you're not coming back from it. I mean, unless you're super lucky, you're going down. And the bigger the hill, the harder you're going to be falling because the faster you're going to be going, and it's no fun. Okay, I assure you, it's not good times. So there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong with your board. But basically, if you look at your board, you can see that these things are beginning to happen. You can, you know, fix what you need to fix, replace what you need to replace, keep an eye on things, just be safe so that you don't end up getting hurt. And it's all pretty much common sense. I'm sure most of you guys know that, but it's something that I think a lot of people don't really think about, you know, until it's too late. And I'd hate to see you guys get hurt and be out of skateboarding for, it depends on how long it takes you to heal. When I broke my leg, I was only out for 4 weeks, but for other people, it's a lot longer. My brother broke his wrist back in October. It was on Halloween. He just got surgery on it last week, and he's going to be in a cast for another 4 weeks. So, depending on what you do, you could be out longer. ACL tears and things like that. There's a lot of stuff that can keep you out of the game for a long, long time. So your best bet is push your limits. I mean, you don't want to stay in the same skill level forever. You need to push yourself, but don't get hurt because of some stupid, maintenance things that you could have taken care of easily. Take care of your products; they'll take care of you. And I'll talk to you soon. I gotta. I think I'm actually going to my local skate shop with the kid that broke his foot because he's going back to skateboarding. He can't afford to pay to replace his bike parts. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably shoot the bike company an email, and maybe he'll get lucky and get some new crank arms. But I don't think so. I think they're too old. I think it's past. I don't know what you would call it, but I don't think he'll be getting any new ones. We'll see what happens.